Hey guys, Krootman here, and with the holiday season in full swing and tons of people looking to buy graphics cards this year to beat out the potential tariffs coming next year and to enjoy PC gaming over this brutally cold winter, I have had tons of questions as to which graphics card I would recommend for 1440p gaming. So in this video, I wanted to compare the GOAT, the hands down best value graphics card of this generation, especially in 1440p gaming, the 4070 Super, to the one-time king of the mountain of the last generation, the RTX 3090. After a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by PC Bros. They offer custom gaming PC builds that fit any budget. And if you don't find a system on their website or in their store that fits your needs, they offer a custom build consultation service to help design the perfect PC for you. On top of that, PC Bros offers a 1-year warranty with all their parts, so you don't have to worry about anything breaking as soon as you bring it home. Use code Krootman for 2% off your next order, and thanks again to PC Bros for sponsoring today's video. So I just want to get one quick thing out of the way. If you want to buy new and you don't want to buy used for whatever reason, now I generally think used is a much better value than new, but that is totally your prerogative, then just stop right here and go buy a 4070 Super. You should be able to get them for between, I would say, like $550 and $600. Remember, when buying, you need to make sure that the listing actually says sold by Amazon. You can see right down here, this is not sold and shipped by Amazon. So make sure when you're looking on a site like Amazon, you go to a sold and shipped by Amazon listing like this one. All right, so I just want to get that one out of the way. If you're buying new, 4070 Super, hands down, is the way to go. Now, if you're okay buying used, which there is much more value on the used market than the new market, this is where things get spicy, as you can find a 3090 for between $500 and $700. Now, I'm just going off eBay listings, but I myself passed up on about 6 to 8 3090s over the past month, ranging from between $550 to $700. And you can see sold eBay listings right here. And at that price range, it really forces us to have a conversation about which one is better, the 4070 Super or the 3090 Ti. Okay, so I want to get this out of the way, and that's that both of these GPUs at 1440p stock settings basically perform exactly the same. So if you're looking to see which one is actually better at gaming, you don't need to worry about that, and that doesn't need to be factored into your consideration, because both of these will do the exact same thing at 1440p, ray tracing or non-ray tracing. So the gaming performance is basically where the commonalities that these two GPUs have ends. And the biggest comparison I want to talk about, and the first point, is VRAM. Now, if you guys have followed my channel for any length of time, and if you have, I certainly appreciate it. And if you haven't, welcome along, and I hope you continue with me. You'll know that I don't really think VRAM is that big of a deal, and I think it's very much overblown. I definitely think you need to have at least 12 gigs of it, especially in a high-end graphics card, which the 4070 Super does have. And I do admit that if you have 8 gigs of VRAM, you will have problems in the future. I believe that you will have to lower the settings of your GPU well before you're going to have issues with the VRAM, which is basically what I'm saying is you're not going to have these cards long enough where the VRAM is actually going to matter, because by the time it does, you're already lowering your settings to the point where you're definitely taking a visual performance hit. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to these rules, as there are exceptions to every rule, but I'm just making a more broad generalization. However, when you have the ability to double the amount of VRAM when you're comparing the 4070 Super to the RTX 3090 for the same amount of cost and, the same performance, then it gets thrust back into the conversation. And at that point, it's obviously a no-brainer that you take more VRAM. Having double the VRAM is going to allow the 3090 to age much more gracefully than the 4070 Super in 1440p gaming, especially at native resolution. Now, I know this is primarily a gaming video where we're comparing their gaming performance and as far as owning one of these as a gaming GPU, but I would be remiss if I did not mention that 24 gigs of VRAM makes this card a much better choice for video editing and for AI productivity if you care about either one of those things. But either way, the fact that you can double the VRAM and not take a performance hit, and they basically cost the same, as I've already pointed out, makes the 3090 a clear winner in this category over the 4070 Super. The next thing I want to talk about is power consumption. The 4070 Super has a TDP of 220 watts, and then the RTX 3090 has a TDP of about 350 watts, which makes the 4070 Super hands down more efficient than the 3090. How does that efficiency translate into real-world power usage? Well, let me show you. So one of the benefits of being a crypto miner is I'm very, very good at figuring out exactly how much money it will cost to run a given GPU at a given amount of time. So I want to share that with you guys. So this chart is assuming, which most likely will not be the case for 99.99% of you, that you are running these graphics cards at full load, 24/7, 365 days of the year, to give you the most extreme example of how the efficiency can translate into cost savings. So the first thing we needed to do was calculate how many kilowatt hours per day each graphics card used. So for the 3090, we got 8.4 kilowatt hours, and the 4070 Super, we got 5.28 kilowatt hours, which makes sense as the 4070 Super is way more efficient than the 3090. So it essentially cost us at 18 cents kilowatt hour, which is the American average rate per kilowatt hour. Go check your power bill if you want to see what yours is. It would cost you 95 cents per day to run the 4070 Super versus $1.51 a day to run the 3090. If we ran that for a year, it would translate out to $346.79 on the 4070 Super side and $551 on the 3090 side. So that's quite a bit of savings. And then if we translate that to the European average, which is about 30 cents, it cost about $2.52 a day to run the 3090 versus $1.58 to run the 4070 Super, which translates to $919 per year to run the 3090 versus $578 to run the 4070 Super. Obviously, that means the higher your power rating, the more important efficiency is. I do want to say that this is the most extreme example, right? Now, I would say that I game probably more than most people since I do a combination of gaming for YouTube and I do it for fun in my spare time. And I would say that I would probably run my graphics cards at a full load for maybe 6 hours a day. And we're talking maybe like 3 or 4 days a week max. So obviously, how much efficiency matters directly correlates to how much you actually use these GPUs. Obviously, the less amount of time you use these GPUs, the less you're going to save in efficiency. Normally, again, I would say efficiency does not matter, but considering that these cards cost exactly the same, it's something that you might want to consider as you will save some kind of money using the 4070 Super versus the 3090. Finally, when we talk about power, heat is a big thing as well, as the 3090 will use quite a bit more heat. So if you are in a hot climate or if you're in an area where, you have like a small room, the heat will matter. And in that regard, I would give the advantage to the 4070 Super on this one, hands down. Now, obviously, some people will say, well, Krootman, you can also undervolt the 3090. And my response is you can undervolt the 4070 Super too. So we're gonna take everything at stock. The clear winner in this category of efficiency and power consumption is the 4070 Super, and as the data shows, it's not even close. So the next thing I want to compare is size. And as I'm sure you guys know, the RTX 3090 is much bigger than the 4070 Super. To give you an idea, and I actually couldn't find size comparison of those two specific GPUs, and as my 4070 Super is in the mines, and I didn't feel like pulling it out for this video, I had to improvise a little bit. And I found the 3090 compared to the 2080 Ti Founders, which is basically about the same as the 4070 Super Founders. And you can see it's much larger. Guys, the 3090 is massive, and it's quite heavy as well. While you can fit both of these in an ITX rig, as I have done it before, the 4070 Super is much easier to build around due to it being much smaller. The 3090 is much larger, and you will generally need a sag bracket, or at least I would run one if I were you. So if we're going for size and ease of the ability to build into a system, the 4070 Super wins hands down. All right, so the final thing I want to talk about is upscaling. Now, when you're spending this much on a GPU, or around $600, give or take, I personally don't think that you should be playing with upscaling. In 1440p, which is the perfect resolution for the 3090 and the 4070 Super, you should be able to get close to or max out a standard 165 Hz 1440p display at ultra or extreme settings. So you shouldn't use upscaling and you shouldn't need it. But if you want it, technically the 4070 Super has access to better upscaling hardware. But I won't be counting this in my overall comparison of the two, as like I said, I don't believe you should be upscaling with these GPUs, as they will they will basically max out the FPS on most 1440p monitors. And if you're spending, over $1,000 on like a super high-end 1440p monitor, you should probably use that money and buy a better GPU than the 4070 Super or the 3090, in my humble opinion. Okay, so in conclusion, while the 4070 Super is much more efficient and smaller and technically newer, for me, if I was buying one of these right now, the hands down undisputed champion is the 3090. The 24 gigs of VRAM will allow this card to age much more gracefully than the 4070 Super. Double the VRAM is much more important, in my opinion, than efficiency or build size. Now, obviously, you might have a different opinion than me, because at the end of the day, this is only an opinion, and the point of this video is to highlight the differences between the two. But if it was me, where performance is first and foremost in my book, I honestly could care less about efficiency. And the heat that these giant PCs use in my personal setup does not matter to me. So I don't care about any of that stuff. That VRAM will allow you to get that extra push later on in both of these GPUs' life cycles. As I've shown, right now it doesn't matter, but it will matter down the road. And if you want to buy one GPU and use it for a long time, the 3090 is your better bet. But that said, either way, you cannot go wrong with either one of these GPUs. I've explained the positives and the negatives of both of them. I would consider them both to be the best 1440p GPUs you can buy on the market right now. So thank you again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to come and hang out. I usually launch videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'm doing a lot of part comparisons this holiday season to help you guys find the perfect setup to get you through winter and the next few years as well. So beat those tariffs and buy now if you believe that they will be an issue. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. And thanks again to our sponsor, PC Bros. And if you are looking to buy used, which is the whole point of this video, go ahead and check out the pre-built systems that they have. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.